Alright, in this video we're going to just go through a very quick example of applying the distance formula. If you watched the previous video, you saw that the distance formula itself was d equals square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And we very informally talked about that this comes out of the Pythagorean theorem, that x2 minus x1 was the horizontal part of your triangle. It was how long that was. y2 minus y1 was the vertical component. And so we were able to go in and just say, well, look, this part is really a squared plus b squared equals your hypotenuse squared. And then we just take the square root of both sides to get this set up. So that's kind of a brief overview there. The nice thing about these is you're really just plugging in numbers. So up here, I want to be careful. This is x1 and y1. You can choose the other point to be that if you prefer, but it doesn't really matter here. And then this is going to be my x2, and this is going to be my y2. The most important thing is that you don't somehow accidentally use a y value as an x value or an x value as a y value. Just be very careful about that. As long as both x values end up in this first set of parentheses and both y values end up in the second set here, you should be okay. I think the biggest issue is usually plugging in negatives. People often will forget double negatives, or they'll think because it's a negative number that it already is taken care of by that minus sign in the first place. So just be careful. I'm going to plug in things exactly the way they are. So 2.4 minus 4 is going to be squared. And then the one that we want to be careful about, our y2 was negative 0.5 minus, and then I'm going to put another set of parentheses in here because inside this parentheses is going to be another negative number. That's the negative 5.4. And I want it to be clear that it's going to be subtracting a negative. That's very important to me to keep that focused and worked with. So I'm going to grab a calculator now and go, oh, you can see where I started to write this out. There was a mistake in the first recording of the video where the program shut off on me. So we're just going to go ahead and plug this in again here though. And we have 2.4 minus 4 in our first set of parentheses. And then on the second set of parentheses, we have negative 0.05. And make sure, whatever you're using, by the way, don't make typos like I just did, 0.5. Make sure that you put a negative sign here. If you put a subtraction symbol instead, the calculator often freaks out. It doesn't know that subtraction and negatives are kind of the same. So you want to make sure that that's a negative 0.5, then use an actual subtraction symbol, subtracting a negative 5.4. And notice that they do appear different here. The subtraction and the negative do show up differently. The calculator will read them differently. So we're subtracting a negative 5.4, and then just don't forget your square up there. And so you saw me make a very simple mistake there typing in the 0.5. I myself accidentally typed in 0.05. And if I had not checked over myself, if I had not been keeping a close eye on things, I could have plugged that in incorrectly. So I will almost always in my videos make a note to just go back and make sure that you've plugged things in right. My first set of parentheses looks good, and I did fix the second set of parentheses there. And so once we run this thing through, I'm going to choose to round to one decimal place simply because that's what they've done in their problem here. And we're going to see about 5.2. This 5 back here is going to bump this 1 up. So we're going to say this is approximately a distance of 5.2. And that's really all there is to the distance formula. The hardest part for some people is just going to be watching out for double negatives and making sure to plug things in correctly, like I almost didn't. And that's it.